how did you manage to navigate? Because in our culture, intellect is not praised, right? Um, Academic excellence is not praised. And I notice a lot of young boys purposely dumb down themselves and they
Yeah.
hide the fact that they're.
I always thought it was stupid to be dumb. I thought that was like, no, that's one thing from a youth. I've never, before music, before I even thought about music, even being in the hood, I never thought it was cool to be dumb. Like my mom instilled reading in me at a pretty young age. We would go to the library a lot. I would, you know, grab books all the time. For me, it was also a way to make your life more difficult. Like to be honest, from about junior high on, I figured out if I just get A's and B's on the test, I don't have to do homework. That was like real simple for me. So I was like, these dudes ain't passing no tests because they're not smart. They're not gathering all the information they need. I'm going to read these chapters. I'm going to know the work. I'm going to get an A and B on the test. I'm going to get an F in the homework, and then it's going to level out to a C. I knew that at an early age. So it was like, then I also knew if from working stock jobs, even selling drugs, that the person with the sharper mind always stands a better advantage. And especially when they think you dumb. When people think you dumb or don't know you're as smart as you are, you stand at a pretty good vantage point to make good shit happen for yourself. It's insulting sometimes, but you got to sit back and just let it be. Like I know from a job point, they're going to go in talking a certain way. I'm going to throw on the button up, go in talk a certain way, and the job is going to be mine before it's theirs. You know what I mean? If I could read something, break it down, understand what it's about, then that information is it. If I have the information, I likely stand a better chance if I have more information than you do. That was pretty, like, common to me as a youth, so I never thought about dumbing myself down or because my friends didn't do a certain thing, I wasn't going to do it. Like, that never even crossed my mind. I was like, fuck that. Y'all be stupid if you want. You be a dummy if you want. I'd rather learn and make it easy and not just school learning. Like, I you know, if it's something I can learn, some knowledge I can take in, send it over.
Do you think as a culture we drop the ball in regards to what we give attention to?
I wouldn't say we dropped the ball. I think as a culture, we always think about what other cultures do, so we look at it like we're dropping the ball. One, we was taught that intelligence is just kind of if you're book smart, and that's not true. That's not true whatsoever. I think there's so many ways of to be intelligent that's not related back to the youth that they don't understand that they're intelligent. So I think people just aren't interested in it, and also because truth be told, a lot of us have issues and trauma to where the things we're learning in school and at the format that they had it at isn't a comfortable place to learn. Like you could say that, but if you go in the school system and the average hood and it's 30 kids in a class, as to when you in the burbs and there's 17 kids in the class, that's two different learning environments. So it's not that people want to be dumb, it's that they around so much shit happening, they don't know how to hone themselves. A lot of us are in the wrong learning environments. Like even most of us, to think about it now, not to be funny, but besides math and reading and science, what the fuck was school really even for or about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, what do you apply that you learned? Like, how much of what you learned from elementary, junior high, and high school really applies to adulthood besides, reading and math and science? What the fuck is the social studies going to do for you? You know what I mean? It's good to know history, but unless you got a job in history, how is that really? A lot of shit we learned wasn't that beneficial as far as the curriculum.
You wrote a book called Invincible.
Invincible, yeah.
Invincible. Who inspired the character Jake, and what message were you trying to get to the masses through this character?
What inspired the character Jake in Invincible was my brain, pretty much. And the message for the character was to show everyone is there's trials and tribulations, and for me, I personally believe, a lot of people come with two sides of a coin, and people will judge you, and but it's how you choose to address yourself and carry yourself is the most important thing in life. So I felt Jake carried himself even in bad situations in a good way.
And also, it seemed like you're really trying to emphasize character through Jake, like being
Yeah.
a solid dude.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I say. He was no matter what he was, he stood on a foundation of principles, which is very important. I didn't intend to write it like that. It's just, to be honest with you, it just sort of came out that way.
And when did the idea come to write the book?
I was on a plane one day and I didn't have a book. Usually flying to Cali, I would keep a book with me. Anytime I would do a flight over 3 hours, I would like to have a book. I didn't have a book that particular time, so I just started up and writing a story in my head of numerous amount of reasons. I didn't have a book. Second, at the particular time, it was important for me to show my son, my daughter, people in my family, that I was more than a rapper, more than just a lyricist, more than a hip hop person. For me, it was important to have also open a door for when I retire from rap to have another avenue of creativity, and not try to find it when I'm retired, to do it years before I retire, and at least open a door for myself and see how it feels, because there's going to be a point where I don't want to rap anymore, but my love for words is going to keep me wanting to do something. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be books and scripts.
Did your songwriting improve after writing that book?
No, writing a book with songwriting is easy for me, to be honest with you. Writing a book was more difficult. Probably why I didn't even write my second one yet, which I'm gonna start probably pretty soon. But I don't write music, so it was two totally different things to do. Like when I make music, I just come in the studio, sit, smoke, lay down, meditate on the beat, and knock the music out. But writing a book, I literally had to write. Like I had to type. I actually wrote it all on my BlackBerry, not BlackBerry. What was it called at the time? I think Blackberries. Sidekick. Yeah, Sidekick. I wrote it all on my Sidekick at the time. So
You wrote it on the sidekick?
yeah, wrote it on a Sidekick.
I got one question, then move to the next one in regards to writing, right? I had to be the guy Bonsai Caruso. He mixed Ready to Die for Biggie.
Mhm.
He was telling me that in his experience, people who don't write lyrics, they keep telling different stories every time they go to the booth. Do you experience that also?
I think so. I mean, nothing is new under the sun. Nothing's old under the moon. Everything that's been said before is just and ways you say it. And I think when you used to, not even just, I wouldn't even say that just goes for dudes who don't write. It just goes for anyone who's invested in a certain amount of input when it comes to creativity. Like when your mind starts just thinking real deep when it comes to creativity, you figuring how to, work with the input and the output of your creativity. It's a different type of tap in, which causes you to think on different levels. I think anytime you do anything repetitive and you keep at it and you keep at it, and it's your craft, you eventually just find more ways to do things. It's like a basketball game. It's like a basketball player adding a jump shot, then adding a hook shot, then, adding moves. It's like a boxer learning how to switch from orthodox to southpaw.